You know, we have some really, really devoted country fans in this area. Bill Anderson, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ken. How you doing?
Really good. How are you?
I'm just great. Couldn't be better.
You're a busy fella, you know.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying a day at home today, and I'm not going to worry too much about being busy.
Now, home for you is Nashville, I take it?
Well, Lebanon, Tennessee, about 40 miles east of Nashville. I moved out here, bought me a farm last fall, and just really enjoy coming home and relaxing, looking out at the countryside.
You know, that is a nice area. I had never been south before, and we vacationed this summer down in Nashville. We went down to Memphis and, of course, over to Chattanooga, too, and then back up through Nashville. Had a chance to see you interview Grandpa Jones for your new TV show.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this new show. It premieres this week on most stations around the country, and the show that Grandpa is on is one of the first ones that'll be shown.
It's a sort of a backstage look at the Grand Ole Opry.
Well, the name of the show is Backstage at the Grand Ole Opry, oddly enough, and that's really what it is. Yeah, there's almost a whole other show that goes on backstage as well as the one that goes on out on the stage at the Opry, and we're trying to pick up a little of that atmosphere and show people a little bit about what the Opry and the country music people are like up close.
Well, you know, it is a fascinating place when you think about how long radio broadcasts have taken place, and, of course, even how long Hee-Haw, and that all seems to come out of the same area, or the same building, doesn't it?
Well, it does now. The Hee-Haw show only moved to the Opry House this year. Up until this season, they were taping at one of the other television studios downtown.
It's a fascinating place. If anybody hasn't had a chance to get down to Nashville, they ought to try to do that and take in the Grand Ole Opry. The reason I have you on the line today, though, is because they're going to have a chance to see the Bill Anderson show this coming Sunday, closer to home, over at the...
We're sure looking forward to that, too.
Yeah, that's going to be at the Assembly Hall over in Champaign-Urbana. And, you come around through this area from time to time. I know you've spent the night or so in Bloomington, I think, from one engagement or the other.
I'm sure that at some point in my life I have been just about everywhere there is to go.
You know, your career is really a long one. You started out as a radio disc jockey. And, well, I don't have to tell you that, but then you eventually started writing songs, and I think you hold the record, don't you, for, more than 35 albums to your credit? I think you've written more country songs than just about anybody.
Well, they tell me that I've won more of the BMI awards for writing country songs. I don't know that I've written the most, but I've won more songwriting awards for writing country songs than anybody. But I tell you, I'm not going to keep that record very long if I don't hurry up and start writing some more.
What is it that really takes what does it take to really write a great country song, you figure?
Oh, I don't know. I think number one for me to physically write it, I've got to have more time than I've had in the last couple of years because I've been awfully busy working the road, you know. My mind kind of has to relax. And then I think I just kind of got to put myself in the mood to come up with something that a lot of people feel. Country music is based on a feeling, and I think that if you can say something in such a way and with the right kind of a feeling that when people hear it, they say, hey, that song was written just for me. I think that's when you hit home with a country song.
You know, this has been the very first year that country music has outsold popular music, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And no doubt the country music is having an influence on every phase of music, but I wonder if it's working the other way, too. Has country music changed over the years?
Oh, yeah. What we call country music today, an awful lot of it would have been considered pop music, I think, a few years ago. I interviewed Brenda Lee for Backstage at the Opry the other day, and we were talking about that very thing, and we were talking about some of her early records like Fool Number One and I'm Sorry and As Usual and some of these things. And I said, Brenda, when these came out, these were considered pop records. But I said, if that same record came out today, they would be considered country. And she agreed with me. Because I think the whole thing has kind of mellowed out and the barriers have come down a little bit. And music is just more or less taken as music today without so many labels being put on it. And I think that's healthy. I like that.
So maybe we should just talk about Bill Anderson, the singer, rather than Bill Anderson, the country singer.
That's okay.
No qualms about that at all.
Well, I'm not ashamed to be in country at all. Don't take me wrong. I'm very proud to be country, and that's where I am. And if anybody says, what kind of music do you like or what kind of music do you perform, it's strictly country. But today, country can be more than just the old connotation of bib overalls and spitting tobacco juice on the sidewalk and walking around barefooted with a straw between your teeth. I mean, it's changed a lot.
But I hope we don't lose that altogether, if you know what I mean. I think there's a certain flair there that everybody kind of looks to look to and say, well, that is country and that's the way it was, and I don't want to forget that.
I agree with you totally. And I think even though we're going through a very faddish kind of a stage with country now, country is a fad today to a lot of people. I think the urban cowboy movies and these kinds of things have turned a lot of people to country as a fad. Now, when these people go on, and they'll go on to whatever the next fad is, you know, if it's banana hula hoops or whatever it is, they'll go on to the next thing.
Banana hula hoops?
Well, you know, it's just something crazy. But they'll, you know, they'll go on to whatever the next craze is. But then we've got to have enough of that basic identity and those roots there for the people who have always loved country and the ones who want to stay with it to really have something to identify with.
Yeah, I think that's important. And I know a lot of people are saying even because of the media, we're losing some of our colloquialisms and even speech patterns because they always seem to strive for that Midwestern sound. And
well, you guys with the perfect voices, I mean, you know, come on.
Wow.
Give the rest of us a break.
Who are you talking about? You... Bill, I know everybody wants to have a chance to take in the show. You have somebody else on the bill with you that they're going to love, too, Mary Lou Turner. And she's going to be a featured singer on the program.
Well, now, if she is, she's working it on her own because she's not a part of my show anymore.
Oh, isn't she?
No. Mary Lou was with me for about 7 years.
You may be in for a surprise because according to the press release that I got from the Assembly Hall, they say that Mary Lou Turner is the featured singer with the show.
Well, maybe she is because Mary Lou is working on her own now. She has her own band and is doing her own thing. And maybe they hired her separately, but she's not a part of my show anymore.
I see. Well, according to the release, she'll be there, evidently.
Well, good. I'll look forward to seeing her.
and if that isn't, that's just a typo here, but according to the information I had.
Well, it could very well be true. Mary Lou was a regular part of my show for a long time, and of course she and I did a lot of duets together and all, but she decided this year that if she was ever going to really get out and strike out on her own and do her own thing, that she needed to go ahead and do it, and I encouraged her. It was a mutual decision, and I agreed with her thinking, and I thought, hey, I hope she is on the show. I think that would be dynamite because we haven't worked together in almost a year now.
Well, maybe I ought to hedge on that statement and double-check with the folks at the Assembly Hall just to make sure. But I know...
Anyway, my group, the Po Folks, will be there, and they're a very exciting and entertaining group. We have a very unusual country-type show in that we do some multimedia effects with our screens and our lights and things, and I think the people will be entertained. I hope so, anyway.
I'm sure they will. In fact, I have a couple of tickets. I'm just going to give to the first person that calls me for the Bill Anderson Show. Bill, I thank you very, very much for taking the time to talk with us. A lot of luck.
And I hope you can make it over Sunday.
I'm going to try to do it.
Thank you.
And we'll watch for the new Bill Anderson Behind the Grand Ole Opry show.
Thank you.
That's going to be starting, I'm sure, in this area before too much longer. In fact, maybe that's one of the few shows that's being produced with the actors' strike that's taking place out in California.
I feel very fortunate to have this new show coming on because there are not many new shows coming on television, and this one is new and it's all fresh, and if the people will check the TV guide and all, I think it premieres this Saturday or this Sunday in most parts of the country.
Okay, it's a syndicated type thing, I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill, thank you very much.
Ken, nice talking with you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.